So with Minecraft 1.20 being released, I'd forgive you if you've missed the other big change that's coming to Minecraft recently. You see, the other day Mojang announced that Minecraft is banning guns. Now, as you can imagine, this hasn't really gone down that well with most of the community, as they do see this as a kind of infringement on the supposed freedom that Minecraft normally offers its players. But to be honest, I wouldn't really worry too much, as I really don't think this ban will work without some kind of change. You see, the reason that Mojang have given for banning these is that guns and weapons are considered non-compliant features under the adult content requirement for commercial server usage, which basically means they don't want to expose their young and impressionable audience to violent subject matter like firearms. And on the face of it, that sounds great, but in this instance I really do think there's going to be a few problems. But before I get into that, I do need to quickly talk about some of the points that I've seen other people making, because if you want to try and argue with Mojang, you really need your points to be convincing, and so far some of them are pretty weak. So firstly, the owners of a popular server called Grand Theft Minecraft have responded by stating that gun servers have been allowed to operate for years until now, and that Minecraft itself already has weapons such as TNT, swords, bows, etc. But I mean, come on, let's be real, it's not like you're in the Middle Ages anymore. I mean, back then you might have had a point, but nowadays there is obviously a clear distinction. In today's society, unfortunately, firearm violence is a growing problem and really does affect people every day. Whereas, how many people are being hit with arrows or swords? I mean, I'm sure that a few are, but you know, it's just not the same. And I've also seen some people say that the game is inherently violent, as you have to fight mobs, cook animals, create weapons and armour. But again, these people are kind of missing the point. Mojang aren't trying to remove all forms of fighting, as these are key gameplay features. Instead, they're trying to simply remove links to the very real issue of gun violence. There is an obvious difference between fantasy violence and real violence. But look, before you get your pitchforks out, don't get me wrong, I do think that Mojang is prioritising the wrong things here, and instead they should really be focusing on either the pay-to-win servers or the dodgy loot boxes, which are basically just a form of underage gambling. But that's a whole other topic for another video, so I'm not going to get into that now. Although, I would love to hear what you guys think about it. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you agree with the ban? Do you have any ideas on how this could have been implemented? Maybe they could have had a tick box to state your age when you load certain servers. And talking of implementation, let's talk about why in reality I really don't think this will work anyway. You see, Minecraft are trying to shield their audience from coming across these unwanted links to firearms, but the base core game of Minecraft has no firearms. In order to find these, the user has to load into third-party servers, as the core game itself has no involvement. And then when you do load a server, they require the player to download a resource pack that changes the look of normal in-game items to look like firearms instead. And the server owners can quite easily just circumvent this ban by changing the names or the look of the weapons so that they can be classed as fantasy weapons. For example, changing the name of rifle to blaster, or giving the end of the gun an orange tip so that it looks like a Nerf gun. There's been a group of server owners that have come together and looked into the legality of all of this, and they've actually found that the commercial usage guidelines that Minecraft references are not clear enough, meaning that they might not be enforceable. But to be honest, I really wouldn't place my bets on some server owners versus the might of Mojang with Microsoft behind them in a court. To be honest, it's unlikely that Mojang would be able to completely ban all mods or resource packs that have firearms in them. At the end of the day, it's just too easy for someone to make a new one whenever the previous one gets taken down. But Mojang aren't stupid, they know this, and I suppose they don't really need to, because as long as Mojang is seen to be at least attempting to clamp down on adult themes, then legally they are kind of okay if anyone ever tries to complain. I've heard some rather apocalyptic predictions, such as Minecraft might continue to become more strict in its content, and eventually ban any kind of weapons or any kind of PvP, but really I think we all just need to take a step back and just calm down for a second. Instead of these predictions, in reality I think you can expect a few servers to try and fight this, and they might be taken down, but the majority will probably just rename the game mode or the items, maybe change how they look slightly, and then continue as usual, as the Minecraft enforcement team themselves have stated that this should be okay. You could argue it's wrong for them to be focusing on this instead of the underage gambling that I mentioned earlier, but again that is kind of a different topic. The only long-term issue I can see really stemming from this is that there does seem to be kind of a lack of concrete guidelines that the server owners can follow, and I predict this might cause some confusion going forward, and this kind of has come out of the blue really. But to be honest, this can easily be fixed. Maybe I'll return to this topic in the future if anything major changes. But anyway, if you're just like me and you miss the simpler times in Minecraft, then check out this video to get a quick hit of nostalgia. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.